My wife left me sick, then planned to steal my money, but she did not know what would happen at court that would show her bad acts. I'm Mike, a man, 35 years old. First, the doctor told me I had bad cancer, which was a shock. I always did a lot of sports, ate good food, and went to the doctor every year. The cancer doctor said they did not know why I got sick. Even though I might not live with strong chemo, I wanted to try hard to live. When I found out I was sick, I was brave and sat with Lisa, my wife, for 15 years, and our teen girl, Emma, to tell them the bad news. Their faces looked sad and their hearts were broken. But I said I would fight the sickness with all my power. Under my strong words, I was worried about how hard this would be for my family. The doctor's serious words were in my head, telling me the hard chemo would make me weak and sad. He also said many marriages break when one person is this sick, and that made me more scared. That night, I told my wife my worries. She said she would stay with me when I was sick and do all she could to help me. We had enough money from my good health plan, big savings, and a fund for my grandpa who died. We owned our house with no debt, and I saved money for Emma's school if I died. A week later, I started chemo, and it was very hard. I came home so tired, like a big train hit me. I could hardly feed myself, and I could not do simple things like wash or walk. My wife and girl helped me at first. They made food, cleaned the house, drove me to chemo, and got my meds. I tried not to ask too much of them, and did what I could when I had strength. This went on for 2 hard months. But then, I saw that my wife and girl were getting mad. They did not want to help when I asked. Even my girl would not answer when I asked for easy things like water or help to go outside. The worst day came when I had to go to chemo early. I saw I was late and my wife was still in her room. I called to her and she just said I should get a car ride to the hospital because she was tired. Her words shocked me, but I didn't know what to do, so I got a car ride and called the hospital to say my wife would not be with me. Luck was with me. The car driver was very nice and made sure I got to the hospital safe. She said she would take me home too. I was glad, but it made me sad that I needed help from people I did not know. When I got home that day, things got bad. After I rested for a few hours, I was brave and asked my wife and girl why they acted mean to me. I saw they were cold to me, and it was hard not to see it. I asked them if I was too much for them. My wife sighed big and said they felt too much stress. My girl said in a small voice that she did not know I would need so much help when I was sick. I thought we should talk about what to do. I said we could pay a nurse to come a few days a week to help me with daily things and take me to chemo. I knew some days I would be too weak to walk or talk, so I got a chair with wheels. They said yes to this plan, and I was glad. I asked the hospital for a good nurse, and they sent me one who was nice but firm. She made sure I went to all my chemo, got my meds on time, and made a good plan for my food and care. Things got better, and the doctors were happy with me. But even though I tried to make things easy for them, my wife and girl still were not happy. My wife felt the nurse was taking her place. I said if she would take me to chemo, get my meds, and make sure I ate and took my pills, we could tell the nurse not to come. The only reason I had a nurse was that my wife said I was too much for her, and she said yes to this new plan, but she did not like it. She asked if we could get a man nurse, but I said the hospital did not have one on their list. Our nurse was good with sick people like me and knew what I needed. She was careful, paid attention, and was nice to my wife and girl. I said the nurse would only go if my wife and girl would do her work. My wife did not like this and said I should do more for myself and not make my sickness their problem. I tried to talk to her, telling her some days I could not lift my head, much less stand up. The chemo made my body very weak. She got mad, ran up the stairs, and slammed doors. I did not pay attention to her fit. I knew her bad mood would not help me get better, so I just thought about my health. That night, my wife's mom called me from far away. She was mad that I had another woman in her daughter's house. The house was mine because I bought it before we got married, but I was nice. I said I needed help, and her daughter did not want to do all the things I needed, so I had to get a nurse to help my family. I said the nurse would only stay for the rest of my chemo, about a month, if the cancer did not get worse. She did not fully believe me, but she stopped calling, and that was what I wanted. For a week after that talk, things were kind of normal. My chemo went well. Then, one bad day, I came home from chemo and saw a big truck for moving in front of my house. My wife and girl had packed all their things and told me they were going to stay at her mom's house. I was very sad and mad, but I was too tired to show how I felt. My wife left right after my chemo when she knew I would have no energy and could not talk well, and that felt mean. I wanted to understand, so I asked my girl if this was what she really wanted. She was old enough to choose for herself. What she said hurt me a lot. She said she would rather live with her mom because living with me was too hard. It hurt to watch them leave, and I cried. This was just what I was scared of when I started chemo, feeling like no one wanted me and that I was left alone. When I was very sad, my brother helped me. He saw the nurse stay with me longer that day and asked if I had family who could help me. My brother lived 3 hours away and had 2 small kids, but he said he would take time off work to stay with me until I found a long-term fix. When he came, he was very mad at my wife and said she was selfish and did not care. He said she never had to work after we married, and I always gave her everything she needed. His wife's sister Jenna was getting a divorce and needed a safe place to stay for a while. Her husband, who would soon be her ex, made all the money, so she did not have much. Jenna was going to school to learn about X-rays at a college near me. My house was close to her school, so it was a good plan. I would have someone with me if I needed help, and she would have a safe place away from her ex who was mean to her. I said yes to the plan and told my brother that Jenna would not have to pay to stay since she would have to deal with me. She could pick any room she wanted. I did not care. My wife and girl took almost all things, leaving only a bed and some clothes. My brother stayed for the rest of the week, and Jenna came on his last day. He helped her move in, and she said thank you for letting her stay with me. Jenna said she would be nice, clean up, and help when she could. She was a very kind person. I told her she would not have to do much because my nurse would now come every day instead of 4 days a week. I said goodbye to my brother and helped Jenna get settled in. The next few weeks went well. I missed my wife and girl, but I think I was the only one who missed them because they never called or asked how I was. Jenna was a big help. She bought food, cleaned the house, and helped make food. She never said one bad thing the whole time. About 6 weeks after my wife left, the doctors told me I had no more cancer. I rang a bell at the hospital to celebrate. My nurse asked me what I wanted to do now that I was well. I knew right away that I wanted to get a divorce by myself and end a marriage that did not help me when I was sick. I started the divorce, and then I worked on getting better from cancer. That was a hard thing to do by itself. Slowly, I got strong again. My hair grew back, my cuts got better, and I gained weight. I ate good food most days, but some days I ate my favorite foods that I missed when I was sick. It has been 6 months since they said I had no cancer, and I think I am ready to start a new life. I called my old job, and they said I could work from home for them again. I think I will do it, because I want to move to a new place. I like my house, but it has too many sad memories. I want to start over with a smaller place. My wife does not know yet, but I plan to give my house to Jenna. She helped me when I was at my worst, and she was very kind even though we did not know each other. She can sell it if she wants. I do not want the house anymore, especially if my wife or girl could say it is theirs. My new home is in a quiet area far from the city, and I am happy about this new start. It has been more than a year since I found out I was sick, and I like my new home and area. The people here are nice, and I made friends with my neighbors, including Martha, who lives across from me. She is a woman whose husband died, and she lives alone. Her kids live far away and visit only at Christmas and on her birthday. Martha asked me to sit on her porch for drinks and talk, and she told me the sad story of how her husband died from lung cancer. She said how good it was that he had life insurance to help her with money. When we talked, I told her what happened with my wife and girl. I was surprised that they still had not called me, but I was okay with it. Recently, I have been doing new things, and I like making things with wood the most. I have been getting more and more tools to help me get good at making things. One day, after I went to the store to buy more wood stuff, I came home and saw Martha waiting with news that worried me. She said she saw some people she did not know near my house. Luck was with me. They did not break anything or try to steal, but what they did was strange. They went to my front door, knocked many times, but no one answered. Then they walked around my house and went back to their car and stayed there. Martha, who was always careful, thought about calling the police to tell them about the strange people. But she did not do it because she thought these people might be my family or friends who came to see me without telling me. I was glad she did not call, but also worried about why these people were at my house. I asked Martha to tell me what the people looked like, and her description made me sure it was my wife and girl. I was confused. How did they find out where I live now? Only my brother and his wife knew where I lived, and I told them not to tell anyone. It had been almost a year since they left me without looking back, and I wondered why they wanted to see me now. Martha, who looks out for me, said if they came back, I should hide and she would talk to them. I really did not want to see them, not after they left me when I was so sick. That night, I called my brother, and he told me that my wife and girl had been bothering Jenna and her friend at my old house. Luck was with me. Jenna had papers that showed the house was hers now, and she said she bought it from me. That was a smart thing to do. I felt bad that Jenna had to deal with this because of my family, so I called her to say I was sorry. I hope the next time they come, I can fix this problem for good. About my wife, I don't know if she knows about the divorce I got by myself. My lawyer sent a letter to her mom's house, but maybe they thought it was trash mail. But I do not care anymore. She and I are done. My wife and girl came to my house again, but this time it was earlier in the day when I was working. I heard a knock and looked at my cameras, and yes, it was them. My ex-wife looked the same, but Emma had grown a lot. She was almost a grown woman now. I did what Martha and I planned. I stayed inside, but moved close to the door to hear them better. Martha, being a good neighbor, went to say hi to them and told them her name. My wife asked if she knew a man named Mike who lived there before. Martha sounded as confused as I was, and asked why she said lived there before. My wife said her husband, not her ex-husband, lived in the house before he died recently after a long time in the hospital. I was shocked because I know for sure that no one said I died, especially not at the hospital where I got my chemo. My wife then said they were my family, which meant the house should be theirs. Martha told them that a man named Mike did live there for a while, but she said he was divorced. She also said that when we were neighbors, I told her my wife left me and I got a divorce by myself. Martha said that I told her I planned to give all my things to charity when I died because my only family was my brother. This is why she thought it was weird to see them looking around my house. No one said anything for a bit. Then Martha asked if they had a paper that said I died or a will. They said no. Martha said if they had those papers, they could take them to the county office. If the house was really theirs, they could get the house papers in their name. My wife did not like what Martha said. She asked Martha who she thought she was and started to yell, saying Martha had no right to get in her business, that she was too nosy, and told her to leave her alone. I felt very bad. The people here had been so nice to me, and now my ex-wife was causing a scene and bothering them. I wanted to go outside and tell her what I thought, but I did what we planned. Martha, who was very kind, said sorry to them and said she was just trying to help. She went back to her house, and soon after, my ex-wife and girl left. When I was done with work, I went to Martha's house to say sorry. She said it was okay, and while she thought my wife acted bad, she also thought it was a little funny. I wish I could think it was funny, but I know my wife gets mad fast when she is upset. If she came back, I decided I would talk to her and tell her to leave me alone. And just yesterday, she came back and ruined my peace. While I was working in my office, I heard a loud crash. I ran to the front room and saw my windows were broken, and there was a mess outside. I heard my neighbors yelling and trying to stop the noise. At first, I thought a crazy person was breaking things. And I was right. It was my ex-wife who broke my windows, and my neighbors tried to stop her. She had been making noise for a while, but I did not hear because I had headphones that block noise while I was working. To be honest, I would not have heard her even if I had taken a break from my music. When I went outside, two of my older neighbors were trying to stop my ex from breaking more things. She and Emma had bats in their hands, and they had already broken some of my plants in pots. I grabbed her arm and asked if she was crazy. Of course, she was shocked to see me, or more to the point, shocked to see that I was alive. I told her and my girl to get off my land or I would call the police. I did not know, but my neighbors had already called them. She looked hurt by what I said and asked why I did not call her when I got better. She said she and Emma would have come back. I told her that when we got married, we promised to stay together when we were sick and when we were well, and she broke that promise. I did not want anything to do with her anymore. She is not my wife now. I sent the divorce papers months ago. I told her again to leave. Then she asked about our girl and said that Emma was going to college next year and she could not pay for it by herself. I said, your girl was fine with leaving me too, and I will give you all my rights as her parent. You should have thought about that before you left me. I want nothing to do with either of you. When she heard me, her face changed from sad to mad, and her voice was mean as she called me selfish and heartless. It was funny that she would say that after what she did to me. You, of all people, call me selfish? I yelled back, very angry. I called her a spoiled fool and said she would never get anything from me again. Right then, she came at me with her bat just as I heard police cars coming. The police came fast and took her and my girl away without waiting. The police asked if I wanted to press charges, and I said yes. As they took them away, they cried loud in the police car, but I did not feel bad for them at all. I had a video of the whole thing, including her breaking my window, and I gave the video to the police. After work, I ordered a new window and cleaned up the glass. Someone will come to fix it tomorrow, but for now, I have a plastic sheet to keep the rain out. Martha gave me some buckets to put my plants in until I get new pots. I wanted to know why my ex-wife came back, so I looked into it. I found out her mom died 2 months ago, and they learned that the house they were living in did not belong to her or her husband. It belonged to his cousin. The cousin told them to leave because he wanted to sell the house. With both of my ex-wife's parents dead, she and our girl sold most of their parents' things and had been living in a cheap hotel. When they went to our old house and saw Jenna there, they thought I had died and looked for papers about my money and things I bought, and that's how they found me. Anyway, they are in trouble for breaking things, trying to break in, and trying to hurt me. Since Emma is not an adult, she has to do community service, but my ex-wife might go to jail because she planned this. I am also thinking about getting a paper that says she must stay away from me. 6 months had passed since my wife Lisa and girl Emma left me when I was sick with cancer. My health was much better, and I was getting used to my new life, and I liked the quiet times. Just when I thought I had peace, something shocking happened. It started when a lawyer I never met came to see me. He said he worked for Lisa and Emma and gave me a lot of papers. When I looked at them, my heart sank. They were taking me to court, saying I made fake papers to put our house in my name only when I was sick. The things they said were silly and not true. The house was in my name, and Lisa knew this because I bought it before we got married. But they said I changed the house papers when I was getting chemo to make sure they could not own it or get it when I died. I was mad and confused, so I called my lawyer to talk about what they said. When we looked more, we found that someone tried to make fake papers to look like I changed the house papers when I was sick. The fake papers were not made well, but it was clear what they wanted to do. They were trying to make it look like I did something bad so they could get something from it. The time they did this was very strange. It happened when people heard I was getting better, and my chance of living was much higher. It seemed like they wanted to use the fact that I was very sick at first to make the court feel bad for them and believe their fake claim. I was very upset, but I knew I had to fight them. My lawyer got all the papers and proof that showed the house was always mine and that the original papers were real. We also planned to sue them back for saying bad things about me and for making me feel bad because of what they did. The day in court came, and you could feel how tense it was. Lisa and Emma were there, trying to look brave, but you could see they were nervous. When the court started, it was clear their case was not good. The proof that they made fake papers was clear, and my lawyers showed it well. The judge was serious and asked them why they did it and why their story did not make sense. In the middle of it all, Emma could not take the pressure and started to cry and told the truth. She said it was Lisa's idea to make the fake papers because they had no money and were desperate. Lisa tried to say something, but it was too late. Everyone in the court was shocked, and the judge said we would take a break. After the break, their lawyer said he would not work for them anymore because what they did was wrong. Lisa and Emma had no lawyer now, and their plan was falling apart fast. The judge said their case against me was over, and then he thought about our case against them. In the end, the court said I won, and they not only threw out their fake claim, but also said they had to pay me for what they put me through. Lisa and Emma also had to pay for my lawyer costs. When they left the court, Lisa would not look at me, but Emma stayed. She came to me with tears in her eyes and said she was sorry for everything. It was a very honest moment. She said her mom made her do it, and she was sorry for the pain they caused. Even with all the trouble they gave me, seeing that Emma was truly sorry made me feel pity, not anger. I told her I forgave her, and I hoped this would help both of us feel better. Now, months later, I think about those hard times with both sadness and relief. The house is still mine, a place where I can be alone and get better. I learned the hard way that sometimes the people closest to you can hurt you the most. But this hard time taught me to be strong and to forgive, things I want to keep with me as I build my new life in peace. After the court said I won, my life became calm, and I had time to think. My health kept getting better, and I felt stronger every day, both in my body and in my mind. Winning in court made me feel like I could move on, but I still felt mad at Lisa and sad for Emma, who I think got caught in her mom's plans. The house, which was now clearly mine, felt more like a safe place than ever. I spent my days fixing parts of the garden and my nights reading or listening to music, enjoying the quiet that I had not had for a long time. But even with this new peace, I still felt alone. The betrayal left a deep hurt, and it was hard to think about trusting people again. One late afternoon, when I was cutting some big bushes, I saw a car I did not know drive slowly past my house. It stopped for a bit and then drove away. This happened a few more times that week. At first, I thought they were just lost people looking at the area, but seeing them many times made me worried. Then, on a quiet Saturday, when I was drinking coffee on my porch, the same car stopped right in front of my house. A woman who was about my age got out and slowly walked to my gate. She said her name was Diane. She was a person who finds things out for a living, and someone hired her who said they had a right to my house. My heart sank, and I felt heavy in my chest. Just when I thought the long fights about my house were over, a new problem came up that could ruin everything. Diane, who was calm and professional, came to me with news that worried me. She said a faraway relative of mine hired her, and this person thought they should get my house because of an old family will that no one knew about. This news shocked me. I had looked carefully at my family history, and I was sure I knew all about it, and no one like this had ever come forward before. The idea of a will no one knew about, maybe made by my grandpa who died, seemed very unlikely, almost impossible. But the chance, even if small, bothered me, and I felt both disbelief and worry about what this new claim might mean for my future. Diane asked if she could look at any papers I had about the house and the family will. Even though I was careful, I said yes, hoping to fix any confusion fast. Over the next few days, Diane and I looked through many years of papers, and we found nothing that showed her client had a right to my house. But while we met, we started to talk more about ourselves, telling stories about our lives and times when people betrayed us or when we had to trust people. To my surprise, I liked having her around. Her being there made the house feel different in a good way, and for the first time in a long time, I was happy when someone came to visit. We slowly and naturally went from talking about work to having coffee and talking for hours in the afternoon. After weeks of looking and finding nothing, Diane said the claim had no basis. She was sure that someone had given her client bad information. She said she would fix the problem and tell her client to drop the case. With that done, I felt very relieved, but it also meant Diane would not have a reason to visit anymore. On what we both thought would be her last visit, I was brave and asked if she would like to keep seeing each other, not for work, but just as us. To my happiness, she smiled and said yes, and told me she had hoped I would ask. As we became closer, I also started to feel more connected to life outside my home. Diane showed me new things and, most importantly, taught me that I could learn to trust people again, even after what happened in my past. Today, when I think about all that has happened, I am grateful for the unexpected ways my life has gone. The betrayal by Lisa and Emma was a painful time, but it helped me grow and start fresh. Diane and I are planning a trip together next month, a step toward building a future that a short time ago I could not have thought was possible.